Helen is back in the room. So, like I say, without further ado, give her a massive round of applause. Helen Bartram!
Cheers. Hello, can you hear me? Oh, hi. Are you all right? Okay. Oh, goodness, where do I start? What a fab couple of days I know you guys have had. So you might find that some of the things that I share are some of the things that other people have been sharing. So I'm going to try not be repetitive, but actually what you'll find is that, and I think Gareth said it at lunchtime, success leaves clues. And these people that are doing these things, a lot of them are doing the same things. So when some of the similar words come up, I haven't just copied what everyone's done this morning. So I know yesterday you were doing some tapping. So if I start doing this, it's not that I've got a secret call of security for the hecklers to come and be removed. It basically just means I'm shitting myself. So if anything that I say triggers you or an intense emotion comes up for you, tap along. Tap along with me. And actually what that does is it starts the emotions in our body moving and releasing that energy. Because what happens is we experience emotions, and I don't know about you guys, but we've got these busy lives and all these emotions come up and we're like, yeah, I don't want to feel angry. I haven't got time to feel angry. So we push it down. But it stores in our body. That energy stores in our body. And then it can lead to disease and lots of other things. So actually, if anything you experience when I'm talking, an emotion comes up, just tap. Tap along. And breathe. And let it go. I mean, I don't need to tell you to breathe. That's essential. Please keep breathing. But actually, when I laugh, it's like, whew, wind. Whew. Actually, if you want to tap, that's optional. But it's great because your body communicates to you all the time. And emotions will come up when they're ready to go. And you can choose to let them go. You can choose to keep pushing them down, ignoring them, suppressing them. So today, when anybody shares anything, if anything comes up and you feel uncomfortable, like it's a big emotion, just tap. Okay. So I've got these slides, but I don't know if I'll use them. Let's just roll with it. So everybody's kind of come up and shared their journey, and the same as Simran and Joe, just like you guys, I was sat in the audience at the very first Strength Succeed. And it blew my mind. I think we massively undervalue sometimes the power behind mindset because it literally changed my life. When we think about, and Simran touched on it earlier, and we're talking about childhood, and we think about childhood traumas and adverse childhood experiences. Now, my story is a little bit different. I was very loved. In fact, I was the first girl for 40 years on my dad's side. And to all my cousins that were boys, I was like, the special one. The special one. I could do whatever I wanted. But you see, that comes with its faults too. Because I created this belief that I was the special one. There was something special about me. Now imagine going to school and realizing that actually there's nothing special about me. I'm no different from anybody else. That was tough. But it helped me to build my confidence. And I went through life, I had great friends. I was one of them annoying people that succeeded at anything they put their mind to. I mean, it wasn't annoying for me, but... and actually, what happened is I ended up in a really successful job. And 6 years ago, you would find me in an office space, probably the same size as this. I had this gorgeous L-shaped desk, fancy little phone, big screen, pile of fucking work, and there I was doing well. It was my first day back off maternity leave, and I sat there at dinner time and thought, what the fuck am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I was paying through the nose to put my kid into childcare, to sit and do an accounts job that I didn't even like. And I was described as a little ray of sunshine in the office. And I would be there and be like, morning, we all all right? Who wants a cup of tea? Oh, nice skirt, nice weekend. Yeah, like the office counsellor, basically. But inside, I was suffering and I was struggling, but no one could see it. And I think one of the things that we don't talk about in society is high functioning anxiety. Because what I realised is that from childhood, I had so much pressure on me to be the special one. And that created a belief. So when I put my mind to something, I was going to succeed at it because I had to. There was so much pressure on me. But inside, my stomach was churning. I was overthinking. I wasn't sleeping well. I was anxious from the minute I opened my eyes to the minute I went to sleep, and that's not even an exaggeration. And I couldn't understand why nobody could see that I was struggling. On paper, my life looked incredible. Husband, car, house, 2 kids, well-paid job. Oh, Helen's happy. Helen's always happy. Helen's the positive one. But because I'd created this kind of persona, it meant that when I felt shit, I didn't feel comfortable to share that. And it's funny, at lunchtime we were talking about men's mental health, and it's a big topic, and that's great. But equally, I know as women are gobshites, but we don't always sit there going, oh, I feel anxious about this, or I'm struggling with this. This is challenging. We're too busy comparing each other's shoes and stuff like that. And I think that actually, we need to be aware that there'll be people in this room that struggle day in, day out, and we just don't see it. And for me, that made me realize that we have to always be kind to each other. And it feels like a kind of basic 101 of life, be kind. Like we teach it to 3-year-olds. But how many adults do we know that are just damn right arseholes? Actually be kind, because you'd never know what's going on in someone's head. For me, I was screaming on the inside, but no one could see it. And I'd drive home in my car, and I was crying my eyes out, and I was like, why does no one see me? And I hold my hands up, I take responsibility for the fact that I never opened my mouth and said, I'm struggling here. I remember this one particular night, I put my little girl to bed. We were reading a story. We were talking about what job she wanted to do when she grew up. She wanted to be a vet or something. Teacher, maybe. And I'm there doing the whole, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Believe in yourself. Anything is possible. All that jazz. And I tucked her in, walked out the room, and my stomach went, bleh. And then I went back in, made her 27 drinks, tucked her in again, toilet visits, you know it is when you're a parent. And I went downstairs and I thought, how the fuck can I stand there, sit there probably, and say to my kids, you can do anything you put your mind to. Dream big, follow your dreams. When I'd created a life that I wasn't even happy with, a job that was meaningless to me. And that day, everything changed for me because I knew I'd become aware of the situation that I was in. And I couldn't sit there and not lead by example to my children. And if anyone's got children, you know they don't always listen to us, but they're watching you. So they're going to copy you. And that's how children learn. They copy. So I had to lead by example. I want my children to do well in life. So I had to show them the way. And just going to flick. Don't have a little thing. I was so excited when they were like, I was thinking, yes, I'm going to boom, boom, boom. Sorry. I should have apologized that my sense of humor is terrible at the beginning. And I'll probably sing at some point, but you know. So self-care. And it was at that point that I thought, I'm miserable, what needs to change? And I was people-pleasing, doing everything for everyone else. And I think if you are one of life's natural givers, you kind of have this innate need and desire to keep giving to people. And that's awesome. But if you're not giving to yourself, like Simran said, filling your cup up, how on earth can you give to anyone else? Now, I actually cringe a little bit when I see the word self-care, because I think we're massively missold it as a society. We're kind of shown the sexy stuff. So I say self-care is not the sexy stuff. And what I mean by that is it's not them kind of Insta-worthy photos that we see with the bath and the rose petals and the gin and the lovely position book. And I'm a knobhead. I've probably uploaded one on Instagram. But self-care is doing the work. Self-care is taking care of you. And it's the basic stuff, the stuff that we know. Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping enough? Who are you spending time with that makes you feel good? What are you even doing that makes you feel good? And how much time are you creating for that? It's saying no when you want to say no. Instead of going, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I'll do that. I'm glad my husband's not here because I need him to keep saying yes and doing the housework. But yeah, it's that. And it's putting boundaries in place because people will take the piss. Not because they realise that they're doing it most of the time, but they're having their needs met. But you need to have your needs met too. So if you've got pen and paper or a phone, I want you to think for a moment about what are you doing right now that is taking care of you? All this mindset stuff is incredible, but for me, you have to be taking care of yourself as well. And as we go through, you will learn the stuff that I got wrong with mindset and how I fell back into old habits. So what are you doing right now to take care of you? What are you putting into your body physically? Where are you putting your mind? How are you taking care of yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually, if that's your thing? And part of my high-functioning anxiety was what was spoke about earlier, and it was caring too much about what people think. So I would just say yes. Like, I was looking after every man and his dog's kids while trying to sort my whole life out, and actually just saying yes, I'll run them there, yes, I'll do that. And I was sweeping up everyone else's shit instead of empowering them to do their own thing. Because actually, when we're saying yes and we're people-pleasing, we think that we're helping the people. But we're not. We're just sorting the problems for them. What happens next time they're coming back to you for the answer? You can empower them to do the right thing for them. And now I want you to write down anything that you are going to, oh, I went all posh then. Anything, darling. Anything that you're going to commit to moving forward to take care of yourself. And it could be anything. It could be more movement, yoga practice, meditation, drinking more water, connecting with more like-minded people. Nothing for me, nothing beats the buzz of being in a room like this. And from that very first Strength to Succeed event, I was like, I need more of that in my life. And committed to going and being with more people. What are you going to commit to? And don't forget, like, we're human. Like, we can sit here and go, I'm going to drink more water. And tomorrow, you're probably going to drink more water. And then the next day, maybe not as much water. But actually, just keep reminding yourself, be persistent, be consistent. But we're not always going to get it right because we're human. There'll be times when we kind of pull away from these stuff, but actually keep coming back in these spaces and reconnecting and getting that fire lit under your arse to keep moving. I mean, I haven't been on a plane for a while, but, oh, goodness. Those of you that have been on a plane will know that the little safety video that we get, safety video? Is it a video? Some people that stand up in the aisle, they come and they say to you, if the aircraft is going to drop, the oxygen masks will come out from the ceiling. And if you're traveling with a child, put your own oxygen mask on first. And the reason for that is so that then you're still conscious and you can help your child. If we put other people's oxygen masks on first, who's going to help us? How many people rely on you right now? And who's going to take care of them when you burn out? Because I think that's inevitable when we're not taking care of ourselves and we're not doing the real work to take care of ourselves, not just the Insta-worthy baths. We'll burn out. So I'm going to share with you what I've learned on my journey of personal development and some of the stuff that I got wrong. So I'm going to share with you my 3 A's. Magic in the number 3. And if you're local, I've heard that there's a decent roofing business with a 3 A's as well, so check them out. Okay, so the first one is awareness. And I genuinely believe that awareness is the first step to change. Now, you're all here for a reason. I don't know what brought each and every one of you here, but you must have had some level of awareness that something's got to change, I want to progress. And Simran shared the Wheel of Life with us earlier, which is a great tool to raise our awareness. Back in the day when I was working in accounts, I had no level of awareness. I was so challenged by anxiety every waking moment that I couldn't see the bigger picture. I couldn't see that although on paper my life looked incredible and I smiled and I cracked on, I couldn't see that I'd created a life and I was living out of alignment. I was living a life that wasn't reflecting my true values because I was too busy in it. So sometimes we have to stop and get a bit of a bird's eye view. So what I want you to do is, with your piece of pen and paper, you're going to pick 3 areas of your life and we're going to do the activity now. I want you to be able to take some stuff away with you. So I'm going to let you choose 2 areas of your life. So it could be like friends, work, spirituality, personal development, what it is, and I'm going to allocate you the last one. And the reason I'm going to tell you what it is because I had a conversation last night with my nearly 7-year-old, nearly got it wrong then, nearly 7-year-old, and I said to him, I'm going to go do this talk. What do you think makes other people happy? What should I share? And he said, these were his words, play games and go to the park. And I was like, fair point, kid, okay. But actually, he did have a point, because how many of us adults don't play enough? How many of us don't have enough fun? And I watched him run off and go play his little game, and I was like, wise beyond you, yes, boy. And that was me. I had no fun. And that has been a conscious effort for me over the last 5 years, implement fun. And the trouble is, what I thought was fun was what I thought was fun before I had kids, and that was no longer fun for me anymore. So I went through this weird journey of being like, oh, everyone else looks like they're having fun. And then I'm doing this stuff and I'm not finding it fun and I'm not enjoying it. So when I say fun, it's what fun is for you. Yeah? So I want you to pick 3 areas of your life and I want you to mark them on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being pretty naff, 10 being living the absolute dream. And I want you to pick where you are in them areas. So for example, fun for me now, probably 6. Could do better, but I'm having much more fun than I used to. And I would say don't overthink it. Gareth, do you remember when you said you're going to do some audience participation? And I thought to myself, it's not a fucking quiz show. Tell us what you do for fun.
Take photographs, go walking, and most fun part of my life is spending time with my 8-week-old granddaughter.
Yeah, and who would think that was fun? But that's it. It's like fun isn't necessarily what is portrayed to us. We kind of have to like put all the social norms in the bin and go inwards and connect to ourselves and be like, what is fun for me? And when we're looking at these scores, and you, for example, if you picked friends or work, what does a 10 look like for you? Not what every fucker else is doing. What is it for you? I think sometimes we can get lost on this personal development world of thinking, am I doing it right? Everyone else is doing this. And I've done that massively, like, especially around goals. I remember doing the first training and everyone was setting goals and I was like, oh God, what do I want to do? I don't even know myself or what I want to do with life. And I started writing these goals down. And I didn't achieve any of them because I'd basically just picked goals that everyone else was doing. It was nothing to do with me. So when I'm talking, I want you to think about, what is this for you? I'm not the expert of you. None of these speakers that have come up here are the expert of you. They're incredible and they've got expertise to share with you, but they don't know what's right for you. They don't know what success looks like for you. They don't know what happiness looks like for you or what your goal should be. This is about you. Have we all got our scores? Cool. So awareness is the first step. So we always need to kind of see a bird's eye view. And like Dean was saying, he does this regularly. And I do. Like, I like to stop and like take a glance. Because my worst nightmare is that I end up doing the do, being in my life. That's crazy. Being in my life and not recognizing that I'm maybe going down the wrong path or I'm not in line to where I want to be going. So this, hopefully, the stuff that I share, you can take away and maybe expand on it tonight or over the week and actually do this stuff. And pick 8 areas of your life, 10 areas of your life, and review it. Get some awareness, see the bigger picture. And sometimes that's uncomfortable. Sometimes we have to be really honest with ourselves. But for me, right now, I'd rather see the bigger picture and it be ugly than to kind of turn a blind eye and crack on. So, the next A is acceptance. And I bang on about this quote all the time, but I love it. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Mr. Wayne Dyer, I love that. Acceptance is massive. And this is probably my hardest lesson with mindset. So my 3 A's are awareness, which you've just covered, acceptance, and then action. Because of my patterns, because of my distracting behavior that I would keep busy so that I wouldn't have to feel my human feels. And that's so important, feeling all of our feelings, all of them, even the uncomfortable ones. I jumped straight from awareness into action. And I came away and I would write the goals, I would take the action, I'd do well, I'd progress. And again, my life looked successful. So I just recreated the same thing. And although I was living more in alignment, I handed my notice in at work, I went to uni, I started doing psychology and counselling and all this stuff that I genuinely buzzed off. And I was successful. However, I still wasn't comfortable inside because I was just being busy in a different way. Does that make sense? So for me, acceptance is vital. And what I mean by acceptance is you might have you might have wrote a score there and you've gone, fucking hell, like I'm only at a 2 on fun. And then start beating yourself up about it. Acceptance is accepting what is, all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we can change the way we look at things. So for me, what I struggled with is shitty things happen in life. And some shitty things had happened to me. And I was hanging on to that pain. So the minute that I would sit still and be quiet, obviously them feelings like, hi, I'm still here. And they would pop up. And then I would be like, how can I be busy? Go do something else. I didn't want to feel the feelings. But actually what I know now is that we have to feel the feelings to release them, to let them go. Otherwise they're just going to hang around forever. Where I struggled with acceptance, and people bang on about self-love. For me, I love self-acceptance because it's accepting all of us, accepting us as a whole. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The light of us, the dark of us. Because we've all got it. It's just that we want to ignore it, push it away. So, acceptance, I really struggled with because I was like, how can I accept that bad things have happened to me? How can I accept that shitty things happen every day? Our people aren't kind to me. And my friend turned to me and he said, I think you're confusing acceptance with approval. Acceptance does not mean approval. And I was like, okay. So, for example, Katie comes up here now on the stage and slaps me. I can accept it. I can be like, okay, it is what it is. It's black and white. This is the fact. But it doesn't mean I approve of it. I don't approve of that behaviour, Kate. But actually, we can accept exactly where we are right now. We can accept what our scores look like on anything. But it doesn't necessarily mean we approve of it. And we certainly shouldn't just accept things and not take action. But if right now there's some things that you are hanging on to or ignoring because you think that if you let them go, it means you approve of it, recognize that acceptance doesn't mean approval. And that was massive for me. Accepting parts of me that I wasn't necessarily fond of didn't mean that I approved of them, just meant I accept who I am and I'm doing my best to be better. So you might want to make a little note now of anything that you need to accept, either about yourself, about the world, about the past, and make a conscious effort to start accepting that. And all of this stuff is a progression. Personal development is a lifelong journey. There's some things that actually just deciding that you're going to accept and be okay with. Sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, cool, that feels good. Other times it's a conscious effort every day. It's working on this stuff all the time. And I'm not here to sugarcoat anything and be like, hey, I've got a magic wand, let's sort it out. This is hard work. This is actually committing to doing better every day, making choices every day. And with every next footstep you take, consciously choosing, is this aligned to the life that I want? And that then leads me on to action. So what I would say is don't make the mistake that I made where you became aware of all this mindset stuff and you just became busy in a different way. We're all on a hamster wheel, but actually I would argue that we all need better balance between doing and being. Being more present. Enjoying life. What is the point in creating this amazing, successful life on paper if we're not enjoying it, if we're not experiencing it, if we're not being more? So doing less and being more. And keep doing, always keep doing. And I think that's what's important is that we can become aware, we can accept our life's journey. Life isn't always going to go how we want it. That's one thing we can guarantee. We're going to get thrown curveballs all the time. It's accepting them. Okay, but what can I do about it? So, again, these stuff might be familiar because people will have shared them. However, goals for me, like I mentioned, I got massively wrong. Steve has a great goal setting technique that I used, and I set all these goals and I would get up and I would work towards them, and I was still miserable and I just couldn't understand it. And what was wrong was that the goals that I'd picked were influenced by the circles that I was in. So when you're thinking about the goals and your vision and the life that you want to create, ensure that it is about you. Ensure that your motivation is intrinsic. It comes from within because you're so excited to achieve that thing. And it isn't going to be easy. And yeah, you may need an accountability buddy to give you a little kick up the arse when you need it. But actually, for me, once I set goals and created a vision and actually went inwards and done that inner work and really connected to myself and what was important for me to achieve in life, I was excited to achieve the goals. So I didn't need an accountability buddy that much. Sometimes I did. Might be lying. But actually, I would be up and excited to go out and get the day, to achieve the goals, because they were my goals. They were the impact I wanted to have on people and I wanted to do in life. And I've done that, I've consciously, since that moment that I handed my notice in at work, signed up, done a psychology and counselling degree. I got a first, by the way, in lockdown while homeschooling 2 children and running businesses. I'm not here to show off or dangle the carrot of happiness, but actually to show you that you are never truly stuck. If someone had said to me when I was sat at my desk feeling miserable that today I'd be stood up here talking to you guys, the owner of multiple businesses, like genuinely happy, my lovely little family, get soppy now, I wouldn't have believed them, because when I was here, I felt stuck. I couldn't see another way. And if you take one thing away from this 2 days, let it be that you've always got a choice. There's always a way. Even when you don't see it. I couldn't see it when I was there. I remember going home and I would literally read the prospectus. Prospectus, is that the right word? You know when yeah, prospectus. I would literally read the prospectus and look at the modules of this psychology and counselling degree. And I was like, I'm going to do that one day. But I couldn't figure out how. And I think it's even consciously deciding what you're going to do. You're putting it out there to the universe. You're telling the universe that you're serious. I mean, the universe might not be your thing. That's just what I would connect with. God or higher power or maybe nothing. I don't know. But for me, I'm sending the message out there. I'm serious. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to impact on people's lives. And whilst I was at uni, I set up a children's wellbeing business. So I would go into schools, do yoga, mindfulness, meditation, mindset stuff with children. And now I do that with adults and coaching, and I have a training academy and a property business, all in the space of 5 years. Now I'd love to tell you that I'd made the decision that life was going to change and it all went smooth. But that's not life, is it? The last 5 years have genuinely been the hardest 5 years of my life. But that's the beauty of mindset, is knowing that you can. Knowing that there's always a choice, another way. And looking for it. So that's goals, ensuring that your goals are aligned to you. And sometimes, I know I didn't, it's about getting to know you. Really connecting with yourself. And for me, I'd done that through meditation. That might not be how you will do it. Maybe it's going out there into nature and find out who you really are. And I think that life has this really bittersweet way of putting us in shitty situations so we learn who we truly are and what we truly value. Because when you are in a dark place, you learn who you are at the core. But actually, having goals that are aligned to you is massive. Stop wasting time and energy living a life that you feel that you should. And start doing what feels right for you. Society will always project its stuff on us. We can choose whether we conform or we do what feels right for us. And that's important. Move's important. I'm go for a walk on the beach because everyone's doing my fucking head in type of person. You'll probably see that if you follow me on socials. I'm just like, get out. One of the quickest ways to change how we're feeling and our state is to physically move. And if we can't physically move your focus. Where are you putting it? Meditation. Let's see what time we've got. Could we get a little bit of meditation music so we could do a little meditation, Sean? Am I pushing my luck? Awesome. Cool. Let's do a little meditation. This might not be cool for some of you. You might be thinking, she's a weirdo. But go with it, okay? Don't overthink it. And just take the opportunity, if you think I'm some kind of weirdo witch, to just be here and present. So, get yourself nice and comfortable. And if you feel comfortable to do so, I'm going to invite you to just close down your eyes. So the idea of meditation isn't to get rid of thoughts. So you will notice thoughts coming and going. That's okay. Just let it happen. When I talk you through the meditation, if you can't imagine anything that I'm saying, that's okay too. If you want to bring yourself back present, just focus on your breathing. And I invite you to just bring your awareness to your breathing to start with. And just notice how your body naturally moves with every breath. Take a moment to just check in how you feel. How do you feel right here, right now in this moment? Without judging, but just fully accepting. Now, if you can, I'd like you to imagine that you are stood on the edge of a pier. Take in the surroundings. Notice what the weather's like. Is there any smells in the air? What can you see? What can you feel? To the left of you, you notice a suitcase, one of them big old-fashioned brown leather suitcases. It's closed. Maybe it's in touching distance. Maybe it's a little further away for you. But inside this suitcase is anything that you are ready to let go of. Anything that you are ready to release here before you leave. If and when you feel ready, you can open that suitcase. And if there's anything in there that you feel ready to let go of, you can just throw it off the pier into the sea. Whatever emotions are coming up for you right now, go with it. Know that you are in control. And you can choose what you're ready to release. Even if it's in that suitcase and you're not ready to let go yet, that's okay. Do what feels right for you. When you feel ready to, you can just close that suitcase. Well done. the right of you, you might notice an envelope. And in this envelope is a photograph of one of your happiest memories. You might like to take the photograph out and have a little look at it. Remember how you felt in that memory. Notice how you feel now thinking about that memory. And what's coming up for you. I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness back to your body and your breathing. And you can bring that photograph with you if you like. Just taking a moment to notice how you feel. Maybe wiggling your fingers for me. And when you feel ready to, you can just gently open up your eyes. Thank you for letting me share that with you. I know it's not always easy, and sometimes we're shown stuff that we're not even aware that we're still hanging on to. But the thing about action is that we can take any opportunity to take the action, to do something different. Everybody talks about faking it till you make it. And I'm all about create it till you make it. And what I mean by that is, when you see something or think about something, it creates an emotion. Sometimes it's a little bit forced. So I guided you through that. So many of you will have experienced emotions throughout that. We were creating them emotions. It wasn't naturally coming up. So for me, the photograph, did anybody like to share something that they felt when they looked at the photograph? Love? Like a nice sad or a sad sad?
A bit of both, I think.
Thank you.
Happy, sad. Happy happened, sad she's not here anymore.
Yeah. Would that tie into love as well? Anybody else? Oh, the future's bright. I like that. And that's it. So in a split second between opening that envelope in your head, you created them feelings. So for me, when we think about goal setting, visioning, the future success, it's all about what do I want to feel like? What do I want my life to look like? And I'm not about faking it till I make it. I'm like, let's create that. Create it until you make it. Because you can create them feelings. When I think about my goals and I think about my vision, I think about, okay, why do I want that? Like we were saying about why. Why do I want that? What do I want to feel? What do I think that will give me? Freedom, happiness, joy, whatever it is. But actually we can create little moments of that every single day until we make it. Does that make sense? So thank you for the meditation and for being here in that space with me. And the last thing that I'm going to share, I know that everyone has kind of talked about gratitude, and for me, it's, I think it was Simran said, the quickest way to actually change how we feel. For me, gratitude is kind of like the king of positive emotions. And it's so important that we spend time thinking about how we feel grateful. There's so much scientific research that backs how psychologically, socially, biologically, physically, a simple gratitude practice, listing 3 things you feel grateful for every day, will improve your well-being, your mental health, reduce stress, reduce anxiety, from listing 3 things you feel grateful for every day. It doesn't take much time. Now, the one thing I want to share about gratitude before I finish is that feeling grateful and focusing on gratitude isn't to ignore the other human emotions. So when Katie got up and slapped me earlier, I was pissed off and I was angry and I was upset. And I couldn't go, oh, I feel grateful because I'm so grateful you've done that because I know who I am today. Thanks, Katie. It's acknowledging that I feel these things, yet I'm still grateful. Always being okay with every single human emotion. They're all valid and healthy and our body's communicating to us. Feel them, release them, let them go. And still be grateful. Not be grateful instead of. Does that make sense? So I'm grateful that you guys have given me some airtime today. But actually to be here and share this with you. And I'm going to be about, if anybody wants to grab me, maybe not physically, but who wants to grab me? Come grab me, Ben, it's cool. So I don't know if we've got time for questions, but...
There might be a couple of questions. If there's anyone who's got any questions, do you want to give Helen a massive round of applause for that? If there's anybody that wants to ask Helen anything.
Am I free? Oh. I'm here, Ben. Thanks for that. You'll be able to find me on socials, just Helen Bartram me. Just Helen Bartram. And you'll find me. Cool, thanks, Ben. Or helenbartram.com, everything's on there on my socials.
Anyone want to ask a question? Hello, sir.
Hi, Helen.
Hi.
I'm not one for meditation, but I can see myself doing this in the future. I didn't mind that, actually. Is there anywhere where you could, any pointers where to go to find some,
I've actually got a 30-day beginner's meditation course I can give you free. If anybody wants it, reach out to me and I'll hook you up.
Yeah,
Cool.
will do. Thanks.
And start small, be consistent. And for me, it was getting comfortable with being still and being silent. And that's difficult. We're all so busy doing that actually being is uncomfortable. But YouTube, guided meditations, do what feels right. There's different types of meditations. So play about and see what feels right.
Yeah. Is it
Thanks.
something you can do on a night? Myself, I have trouble sleeping. I'm quite an overthinker. Would meditation help that, or?
Overthinking, brain dump everything, get a piece of paper, brain dump everything that's going on in your head on the piece of paper before you go to bed, and then just be aware of your environment, what you're watching on TV before bed, when you're not looking at your phone before bed, and sleep meditations.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If you were an overthinker generally, mantra meditations are good because you still think you're thinking. So just repeating something, a statement. I do it if you've got children. I teach this to 2-year-olds. It's simple. Just doing a little mantra meditation like this and saying a statement. I am always enough, or peace begins with me, whatever it is. And actually, it's just that focus, a little mindful mantra meditation. You don't have to do this when you try to go to sleep, but maybe just create something like I'm feeling peaceful and just keep repeating it in your head and let it drop in your brain. Yes, if you find me, if you go on helenbartram.com, all my social stuff's on there and you can connect with me, reach out, drop me a message and I can give you access to it.
Got one last question over here, Helen.
Hi, at the start you said that you were in a job, you were happy, or everything appeared happy, and you wanted somebody. Why couldn't people see it? If somebody had come up to you and actually said, "What can I do to help?" or "What would you have done? How would you dealt with it?" Would that have changed?
I just said,
Or
I'm
could you
absolutely
take it?
fine. I'm good. It's all right. Everything's cool. And I think that's it. I think the hardest part was probably me admitting to myself that I was struggling.
So how, if you think someone's in that situation, and you ask them and they say, "I'm fine," what do you then do to try and say, "I don't think you are fine. You need to do something"?
Yeah. And that's difficult, isn't it? Because if somebody's not ready to say, I'm not fine, it's tough. But it's going back to doing them kindness stuff. It's going back to the little acts, being there, letting them know that you are there, and being present with them.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I free?
Spot on. Give her a massive round of applause. Helen Bartram.